Hello and welcome. My name is Tamaya Urban, the Urban Healer. I'm a registered nurse and a somatics-based life coach, and I'm so excited to talk to you about what are the money limiting beliefs and somatic patterns in your body that are holding you back. You have everything you need to be able to make more money, except for there's a couple of things that need to be tweaked, and I'm very, very excited to lean into that with you today. So, just as an overall agenda, what we're going to be doing, as always, we're going to take a second to ground just to arrive here. Regardless where you've been all day, how your week is going, we're going to give ourselves permission to land in the moment. I'm going to be talking about why women do not have a capability problem. Absolutely not. You have a capacity problem, and there's a big difference. I will also discuss why money is not just a mindset thing, there's a whole lot more going on there. The 3 money skills nobody talks about, where these patterns come from, and what actually needs to change to create a new outcome. And then, of course, we'll have a moment of integration. In case you are new to me, thank you so much. I'm so happy for you to be in my community. I am a neurotrauma trained registered nurse. I'm a podcast host of the Discover Your Joy podcast. I'm a speaker, and I'm a life and success coach who focuses all on somatic healing, nervous system expansion, and subconscious reprogramming. So let us arrive. I'll invite you to just take a second to close down your eyes or find something to focus on, whatever feels better for you. And just take a second to notice your breath. You don't need to change your breath. Nothing needs to shift. We're just noticing. And then perhaps I'll invite you to take a breath that is a little bit slower, a little bit deeper. And when you exhale, let out a sigh. Make some sound. And anything that is in your mind, anything that's on your to-do list, I promise it will wait for you on the other side. Just put it off to the side for a moment just so you can be here fully present to absorb this content. And as you're here, check in with your body. Is there any way you can let go of just a little bit of tension, a little bit of tightness? Perhaps relaxing through the face and through the jaw. Softening through the shoulders, perhaps sitting up a little taller, stacking the spine, and then allowing the lower body to get heavy to anchor you down, allowing you to land here. And then most importantly, I'll get you to wiggle your toes. Bring all of your awareness into the feet. And then just notice that you are in a safe space. You are held here. You can be here just as you are. So I'm going to challenge you to consider, what are the limiting beliefs holding you back in regards to your money story? When you think about your finances today, you're about to log into your bank account. What thoughts, what sensations, what feelings are coming up? Is there some sort of a financial pattern that you are used to and you do not like because it is not serving you? And would you like that to be different? How would you want your financial story to play out? How do you want money to feel like? How do you want making money, investing money, expanding money? How do you want that to feel like? And in case your mind goes to, I can't have that, that's too hard, not for people like me, it's never worked before, whatever's coming up, I want you to keep that in your mind because we're going to work with that later. And as always, can you stay open and curious? When we dive into things that are a bit charged, such as money and finances, we can get very fixated of this is how it is, this is how it always has been, and we don't want to see it from a different angle. But you will not be able to find the solution to a problem unless you're looking at it from a different perspective, because that's usually exactly where the solution lies. So take another big breath in and a complete slow exhale out. Welcome back. As I was saying, women do not have a capability problem. We have a capacity problem. And this is something I see with my clients all the time, which is why I knew I needed to create a masterclass on this topic. You are fierce, you are intelligent, you are resourceful. You probably have way too many tabs open, taking care of everyone around you, whether in your professional life or your personal life, and you're doing it all. And that is not a capability problem because you have all the tools and the skills to run a successful business or whatever else you do for a living if you to make a lot of money, especially in today's world. It is very easy to make money just because there's so many opportunities and avenues for you to be able to explore that. But the issue lies with your capacity. And your income is going to get capped by this level of capacity that you hold in regards to what your nervous system perceives as safe for you to lean into. There is a max for how much we can do in a day, how many decisions we can make, how many tabs we have open, and like the real tabs that are actually very important, where we hit a maximum and we just can't do more. And this is something that I see my clients struggle with when they're hitting that income ceiling. They don't know why. They're doing all the right things. They're taking those steps. They have the sales funnels. They have certain people that they're working with. And then they come to me and they're like, I don't understand why none of that worked. Well, have you looked at your body in terms of the somatic healing? Have you looked at your nervous system? Are you dysregulated constantly? And what are your beliefs actually like? Not the logical beliefs of I am worthy, I am enough, I deserve more. No. What's going on in your subconscious mind? Because those are going to be the beliefs that are going to cap how much money you're making. So remember, you're not going to rise to your financial goals. You're going to fall to your financial conditioning. And there's a big difference between what you want, what you logically know you deserve, and how you actually feel about money. So, money is not just about mindset. There's a lot more going on when it comes to money, which is why this needed to be its own topic. Your brain's going to prioritize familiarity over potential. Your nervous system is designed to make you survive, and survival is based on predictability, not optimizing your wealth, not taking a huge financial risk that's going to have a huge ROI. You want to keep things the same because what you've been doing up to today means you didn't die. And that's literally how your nervous system and brain views survival. But that's not looking at building a wealth portfolio, generational wealth for your children, or even joy, fulfillment. It's do what you've been doing, repeat doing it, because since then you haven't died. So your brain is actually always asking, is this familiar? Because if it's not familiar, it might not be safe. So maybe it's not good for me and I'm going to avoid that. And of course, when it comes to money, what's really interesting is money doesn't even really exist anymore. Most people don't even have cash. It's just numbers start floating in the ethers. And I'm not saying money's not a real thing per se, because we need it, of course. But money is associated with a lot of stress, with conflict, with instability. So if money is so triggering to so many people, then of course wealth unconsciously is going to be labeled as unsafe. And this is something that you can't work around. You can't logic your way through because your nervous system is always going to be using past experiences to predict the future. And the future has to do with will you die? But anything you haven't done before, well, there's an opportunity that you could die. And I know that sounds really extreme, but that is exactly how your brain views things. And if you have the stress, the guilt, the criticism, the pressure that is associated with money, especially when you were growing up, then it's not even an ick. It's like a repulsion of, I'm going to get hurt. you only have to put your hand on the oven once and burn your hands, being like, I'm never doing that again. And unfortunately, that is something that we have also ingrained when it comes to money. The other thing that's really important to remember is that your subconscious creates your financial set point. So, the same way you set the temperature for a room, if let's say you have, I don't know, you want a temperature of 20 and I'm in Celsius, and you're like, okay, that's comfortable to me. And then all of a sudden it gets really hot. Well, the AC is going to turn on and it's going to bring it down. So even though I might be like, well, I really want this room to get hot. I want to be hot and nice and warm and cozy in this room. But if my temperature is set to 20, that's it. That's where it stands. So you can't be mad at the room not getting warmer if you haven't looked at your thermostat because, well, you kind of set it. And that's how our subconscious works as well. Due to repeated experiences, we're going to have certain neural pathways that are associated with big emotions because usually money comes with emotion, and it's going to build an identity of who you are. You are somebody that has X amount of dollars. You are somebody who charges X amount of dollars. You are the person who things go really well and then things kind of fall apart. And then things go really well and then they fall apart. But you always make it, so you're the hero. But what if all of a sudden you just start making money with ease? What if you don't get to be a victim? What if things just go really well? What if it's good on top of good? Yes, please, more, please. Ooh, hold on, that's different. That's a different version of you. And then all of a sudden you're getting nervous. And again, this is not a logical thing. This is a subconscious thing. This is a autopilot programming system that is running in your brain. So when you want to rewire that, when you want to shift the identity of this, you have to look at the somatic work in the body and you have to look at the brain because your subconscious is what's going to be running the show here. So, the other thing that people don't actually realize is when you have a certain money story or belief, your brain has that set point of this is how it is. And it's actually going to filter your experiences through that reality. So then you're like, oh, look, some more proof. Oh, look, I'm strengthening that neural pathway. So it becomes more ingrained, more automatic, and this is just how it is. And how do you know this is happening? Are you hitting a certain income ceiling over and over and over again, even though you've hired all the sales coaches and you paid for ads and you did this and you did that, and it's still there? Are you having cycles of fast and famine? So it's like feast, let's go, and then famine, everything falls apart. And then, oh my goodness, so much money came in, and then, oh my goodness, something came through. And that chaos, that up and down roller coaster, that is something that you're used to, but that's tied to your identity because that's how it has always been for you. Do you have any sort of self-sabotage that comes through after success? So your best month is followed by your worst month or a couple months. And then when you add them up, you're always at the same average. This is how you know your subconscious is running a show, and it's running a belief that one isn't serving you. And two, there's something that you're clinging onto. And if you're going to be working with a coach who doesn't at all look at what is your belief system, or what was money like for you as a child, or what do you feel in your body? What are the sensations that run through your body when you're signing in to look at your bank account? When you're accepting money from a client, when a client is like, hey, how much is your offering? And you're like, oh, and you get all anxious. What's going on there? So if a coach isn't going to look at the body or the subconscious, your logic isn't going to create a change that is actually going to last. And prove me wrong, please go ahead. The other big thing to remember is anytime you're expanding, your nervous system is going to get triggered. And this is whether you are in a new relationship and you're so in love and things are going really well, or is it when all of a sudden your life gets really good and you're really happy and there's a lot of joy? And of course, when it comes to money, the more money you have, the more responsibility, the more uncertainty, the more judgment, the more expectation. There's a rap song, I'm not singing it, but more money, more problems, right? So to your body, this moreness, even though logically, of course, I want it, it's uncertainty. which can lead to danger, which can lead to what if something bad happens and I die? But then the actually positive experiences you've just never experienced before. So even though it's foreign, it doesn't mean something bad's going to happen, but it's still going to trigger a survival response in your body and your nervous system, keeping you dysregulated. And when it comes down to it, your conscious goals will be like, yes, 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 yes. Like, here, let me just give you $10,000 for fun. Here, just take it, please. I would love for you to have it. Oh my God, yeah, I would love that. But then your nervous system's like, absolutely not. We're shutting that down. Nope. And just think about that. If I were to be like, hey, what's your email address? I'm going to send you some money. You might be like, oh my God, that's great. But then is it $10? Is it $100? Is it $1,000? Is it $10,000? Is it $100,000? Then you're just like, no thanks. What's the catch? What's the fine print? What do I need to do? What if something bad happens? What if you ask for it back? Is this just a joke? Is this a scam? And your brain is going. And if you take a second to pause, what's your body doing? Your body's not in a neutral state. Your body's not like, oh my God, this is so wonderful and great. You're just like, am I being attacked? Am I safe? Is something bad going to happen? Oh my goodness, is this fraud? Are you going to take, like, I don't know, break into my accounts and then take everything? And then you go. And whether it is something that's actually bad or whether genuinely a client is like, hey, can I pay you extra? Or you raise your prices and someone's like, can I just pay in full? But you've never accepted money like that before. Those are all the same thing. And if you have that visceral response in your body, well, then there's something that needs to be shifted and transformed. And this isn't doing mantra work, this isn't writing out affirmations. And I'm not saying budgets are bad, budgets are very important. This is not ignore the bank and don't talk to a financial planner. No, 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 you need to. But you also need to look at the other side of the coin that is just as important in terms of your body and how it responds, your nervous system and how it responds, and your subconscious and what kind of belief systems are running wild inside your brain. And the big thing to also recall is that what does your bank account look like? Like, do you like the numbers in there? Do you even know your numbers? And like, ladies, I love you so much. You need to know your fucking numbers. Like, there's no option. Oh, my husband does that. Okay, hope he's not screwing you over. Hope you guys don't divorce. Hope something horrible doesn't happen to him and all of a sudden you have to manage everything. And of course, I'm not calling it any of these things for you, but you need to know what's going on because you're a grown-ass adult and you need to put on your big girl pants because you need to know your numbers, all the numbers. What are your investments? What are your portfolios? What are the returns? Like, what are your debts? Like, what are the interest rates? When are things due? And if you're like, oh my God, this is so much, I can't do it, this is overwhelming. Well, then, please work with me because that's not okay. You need to know all of these things. And at the end of the day, your bank account is not only a reflection of your financial decisions, which are important, but is also a reflection on what your body feels safe to hold. Is there a maximum that your bank account has never gone past? Is there a number that you have never like made more of? Like your checking account probably has about the same amount of money in there every single month. And if it goes up, it kind of goes back down. So sit with that. Just get curious. We need to remember that money is not neutral. It just isn't. Money is just numbers, but no one has like a fear of the number three. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, number three, I can't look at it. No, thank you. Oh, it's so triggering. But then if it's money, people do get triggered. And why is this? Well, money represents safety. And again, we need money. And that's not being greedy or anything. It's we need money to pay for our home, to pay for the internet, to pay for the laptop, to pay for the food in our fridge, to pay for the car to drive us somewhere, to pay for the school your children go to. Like, we have no choice. You need that. But then money also represents power, control, conflict, judgment, pressure, a sense of belonging. And sit with that. That's huge. If you have too much money, you can hang out with certain people because you're too different. But if you don't have enough money, you better not be going over there because you don't have a seat at that table. You can't afford that. You can't buy a car at that dealership. You can't buy that luxury designer brand. So there are huge implications in terms of how much money you have, what your status is, and where you belong and don't belong. And if you really want to elevate in terms of how much money you have, and not just so you can buy all these things and go on a shopping spree, but no, it's like long-term planning and retirement, and God forbid something happens, so you have an emergency fund. You know what I mean? It's like all those things. Money is really important. So for you to feel triggered by money and not understand money and not know what to do with it because your brain is running an old storyline and your body is so triggered it literally shuts down or freezes, and your nervous system that is already probably dysregulated gets even more dysregulated, like that's not okay. And when it comes down to it, ladies, you don't need more discipline. You don't even need more consistency. And you don't need a better plan. Sometimes your plan is good. Sometimes things need to be adjusted, let's be honest. But when it comes down to it, is you need your nervous system to not shut down every time things start getting good. And I said that correctly. That was not a typo. That was not me saying it wrong. Women are really good at struggling, and we're really good at being in pain, and we're really fucking resilient. But when things start going good, and there's abundance and there's joy, ooh, that's when we actually get triggered. And I'm completely honest, and that makes no sense. Again, this is not a logical thing. This is what I have realized and noticed with all the clients I've worked with over the years, as well as in myself, where I'm like, I am the most anxious when things are good because you're like, oh, is the other shoe going to drop? Ooh, something's going to happen, right? Now, with this, I want you to look at the picture. And it was funny because I was like, oh my gosh, this is not the picture I'm going to use. I'm like, this is going to trigger someone. Oh, what if it looks like it's too much? Interesting. What does this picture make you think of? What thoughts are coming in your mind? What sensations are you having in your body? Are you like, ew, gross? Like, look at the money. You're just being a show off. And like, I would never hold cash like that. Or would you be like, oh my goodness, it's unsafe to do that. What if someone's going to take it? Like, oh my goodness, I would never walk down the street, oh, God forbid, in the dark holding money like that. Like, someone's going to mug me and they're going to steal my money. Or maybe you look at the rings on her finger and like, oh, she must have married rich. Or maybe she bought them herself. Options. And it's like, why would a woman hold money like that? Like, oh, it's not elegant. It's not graceful. So sit with what's coming up because this is another layer of something you might want to process. Now, what's funny for me, because I used to work in banking years ago, which is very funny, and my bank always had Canadian dollars and US dollars. And I remember when I would start my shift, I would have to count the money from the night before, and I would be counting US dollars. And no offense to my American clients, I love you. Your money stinks. Like it is sticky, so it was like harder to count. And then if you're running it through the machine, it's like the waft of the smell of US cash is so disgusting. Our money does not stink, just saying. So for me, US money is actually dirty and like it feels appalling. But listen, if you're going to pay me in US cash, I shall not be saying no. So please carry on. But it's funny because like for me, it's like it's a gross memory. So, anyways, sit with that. Now, the actual topic of this slide is that there's three money skills I don't think we're talking about. It's not just like money. Like there's so many layers. There's a difference between receiving money, making the money, holding money, and then expanding the money. Those are three very different skill sets, and they also come with different belief systems, traumas, and nervous system responses. So, as I'm going through these slides, I want you to just think which one is the hardest for you? And it might be all of them, it might be a combination. We're not judging, we're not shaming. We're just allowing awareness to bring things to the surface, as well as putting a pin into, that's coming up. I think this way. Interesting. So just keep track of that so we can process that after. So when it comes to receiving money, it's your ability for money to come into your life without guilt, bracing, shrinking, or overcompensating. And do you do that? Like, is that you? You have to get paid. In some way, you have to get paid. I assume you don't live on a farm and you're paying things in chickens and goats and a cow, okay? You have to get paid. And whether you're a stay at home mom, amazing. Whether you're a corporate lawyer, wonderful. Whether you're an entrepreneur or business owner, you have to get paid. And logically, give me the money. Yes, please. Like, let's go. But then when the money comes, do you fumble? Do you feel guilty? Like, do you like want to overgive because, oh my God, someone just paid me so much money? Yeah, but that's your price because of the work you've done. Like, it's like, what? Why are you doing this? So, some of the belief systems that come through when there's a block in receiving money is I have to work harder, I have to work more in order to deserve more. There might also be a subconscious fear about, well, if I make more money, then there's more responsibility and it's like more work, it's harder. So if you're constantly like, I'm so tired, I'm so overwhelmed, oh my goodness, and you're making 10 grand a month. But then if you're going to make 20 grand a month, you're like, I'm going to have to work twice as hard. Well, I'm fucking tired. I don't want that. No thanks. But then any business owner is going to tell you making 5 or 10 grand a month is so much harder than making 20 or 30. And it makes absolutely no logical sense. It's just this shift in how much you're charging, the type of clients that you're working with, how they respect and value you, all these things. That's its own masterclass, but it's interesting. And you might also have this like innate feeling of, well, it's really selfish for me to want more. Did someone ever tell you like you want too much? You need to lower your standards. I've had this said to me where they're like, the life you want to create is not realistic. You should really just be happy with what you have and like lower your standards. And I mean, for me, I was just like, fuck off. I don't subscribe to that. I know I deserve more. And I also know I can create that for myself. So, anyways, all the best as I make my dream life. Thank you. And how does this show up in your body? Okay. So, there's going to be these thoughts. And for the most part, you might not be aware of the subconscious beliefs that you're having. But then there's going to be certain patterns in your life and certain patterns in your body. So, do you downplay your success and your income? Or do you feel safe letting someone know? And it's tricky because you have money trauma, I have money trauma, they have money trauma, and then we're all like, let's not talk about it. But then that sucks. Imagine you doubled your income and you busted your ass to do that. But now you can't even call your best friend and like tell her because what if she gets triggered? Like that sucks. How are you in terms of receiving other things? So, not money. I'm not giving you a wad of cash. I'm giving you a compliment. Oh my God, I love your outfit. Oh my God, your hair looks so good. Oh my God. You know what I'm talking about. You either do it or you know someone who does it who cannot take a compliment, a gift, or any sort of support, and that makes them feel uncomfortable. Well, then you suck at receiving. But you want to receive and you're mad you're not receiving, but then when it comes, you won't take it. That needs to be processed. Thank you very much. You also feel like you have to earn rest. I'll rest when everything is done. I'll rest when my to-do list is complete, which is coming never. Or maybe when people do pay you and you might be like, okay, you get 10 hours of coaching, it's this much, and then you over deliver. You go over by 30 minutes. You go over by 45 minutes. You say no emails, and then you're writing emails that take you an hour. That's over delivering and you having a problem with receiving. Or maybe you feel really guilty over what your prices are. And then when it comes down to your body, how does your body feel when you're talking about money? How does your body feel when you're checking your bank account? Are you bracing? Are you feeling a tightness in your chest? What do you do when you're on a call with a client, a potential client, and hasn't signed yet? I'm like, okay, what are your packages? And then you say the number, and then they're like, yeah, it's too much. And then you're like, yeah, you're right. Ah. And then you freak out. Do you feel restless when someone pays you? Do you feel like anxiety after a financial win, being like, oh my God, maybe it was a typo? Maybe they're going to ask for a refund. Do you feel overstimulated or emotionally dysregulated when things are going well? Or do you feel like you have to like over explain and prove and like rush when it comes to money? These are all traumas of receiving money. The next one is holding money. So, making money, actually, a lot of my clients are really good at making money. They're having a bit of a hard time with the second and third option of can you hold the money? It's like you make the money and then you're like, oh, hot potato. I'm like, no, no, no. You got to keep the money. So, you get activated when there's a bigger number. And then unconsciously, you're like, I'll feel better if I spend this, go back to overcharging, manifest some chaos, or then just maybe like disappear. And that's the thing though. I love that you made the money. You need to keep the money because money in your account is only useful if it feels good having it. Because if it completely brings you into a spiral, that's not helpful. So what are some of the common blocks here? Money's going to disappear, it's not safe having it, and it won't last. There's a fear of responsibility because if you're the one with the money, everyone's going to come to you and you're like, I'm already fucking tired and overstimulated, please don't come to me. You might have an identity attachment to, well, I'm the one that struggles. Because here's the thing, if you're not struggling, you can't be the victim. And if you're not the victim, then you can't get the pity, love that you get from people and all the attention. And if you're the hero, that's a little more work. What do you mean? You can't just hide. That's right. So then how is this showing up? This is emotional spending to reward yourself because you deserve it. Babe, you do deserve it, but don't fuck yourself for retirement, okay? This is when you make the money, but you can't actually maintain it. This is when the good months are followed by contraction or chaos. After this is the can't look at my numbers, I'm not doing my taxes, I don't know what's in my savings, I don't know what I owe, and you're just kind of like, what do I need to pay? And you just pay the bottom line and you don't actually look at your transactions. And again, you do this hot potato. It's like, hot potato, get it away. Mm-mm. Take it. You need to hold it. You need to feel safe holding it. So your nervous system is going to get more dysregulated when your income increases. Hence, you have the urgency to spend or move money quickly. You might have shallow breathing when there's more money in your account, which makes no sense. You get more hypervigilant. You have a really hard time settling. And then all of a sudden, it's like there's this expansion, and then your body's just like, blah, can't do it. And I'm not even kidding you. There's people who do this. Is this you? We do not judge, but is this you? And then the last part is expanding money. I love that you made the money. Yes, get it. I love that you're holding on to the money. Absolutely amazing. That shit needs to grow. Okay. Partially because life can get expensive. There's inflation, there's plot twists, people are aging. It's a thing we don't like. There's retirement, especially if you're a business owner, you got to really get your ducks in a row. You need your money to not just be sitting there. Your money needs to be working for you and creating an ROI and continuously expanding. But if expansion is tied to having more responsibility, more leadership, more questions, more things you can do wrong, and that's dysregulating, that's not going to expand. That's not going to work for you. And at the end of the day, if you're making more money, you are going to get triggered because you are going to be seen by more people. More people aren't going to like you. More people are going to get disappointed because you are going to say no more often. Your time becomes more valuable. You suddenly have to set bigger boundaries. Shit that you let fly is just not going to work anymore. It's like, this is a no. You're going to have to tolerate uncertainty because all of a sudden you're making bigger financial decisions. So, I mean, I don't want to lose $100, but I absolutely don't want to lose $100,000. That's a different layer of the healing. And then you also need to become a stronger leader. And for women, having that many eyes on you, having that much judgment, having that much pressure, if you are constantly dysregulated and you have all these limiting beliefs of you not being enough and you not being a strong leader, someone who is powerful, or everyone's taking advantage of you, and then your body just feels like absolute trash because of all the dysregulation. This isn't going to work. It's also not going to feel good. And the whole purpose of this isn't like, make more money, I need more money. No, no, no. But I just want you to have enough money to pay for the life that you need to pay for, a little cushion for, goodies, and then another cushion for the rainy day we don't want to think about, because that's life. So you got to process this. You have no choice. And I, again, say this with love. So once you start expanding money and all of a sudden you're hitting a different tax bracket, you are going to outgrow people. There is going to be people who aren't going to like you because now you're successful and you're happy. And I mean, there's a couple of Drake songs that say, do you want friends or do you want success? Because you can't have both. And do you have a belief system that more money will actually change who you are? Like, do you think rich people are bad? Do you think rich people are greedy? Do rich people give you the ick? Well, you don't want to be that. So then, you know what? Let's get rid of the money. You have this massive fear of visibility and responsibility and disappointment. And like, what if you fuck it up? And what if it falls apart? And then all of a sudden you're a failure. And then everyone's going to look at you and laugh at you and da 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 da. We need to heal that. Do you have an upper limit of what you think is too much? And we all have an upper limit that we need to kind of like pick away at. I mean, good news, the upper limit was put there by you, but bad news, you need to remove it, which means you need to do the inner work, which is not mindset work or mantras or subconscious work on its own. You can reprogram your mind, but your brain isn't just this floating thing, although I am a floating thing for you right here. But your brain isn't just this floating thing in the world. It's attached to a body. It's connected to a nervous system. So if you're constantly dysregulated and your body feels like shit, you're missing so much of the healing and the lasting transformation. Because I don't want something to just be good and then fall apart and be good and fall apart. Like, no, thank you. I want to just be good on top of good, on top of good, on top of good. So how is your conditioning around safety? Like, is it safe to be rich? Or will you get scammed or conned, or like, I don't know, you get kidnapped, or will your child get kidnapped? And I'm not even kidding you. I've had 2 clients who, after doing inner work with me, there was a deeply rooted fear of either them or their children getting kidnapped, because that was something that they've either heard of, experienced, were threatened by their parents. They lived in a different country where that is a thing that actually happens. And then they carry that massive fear in their body. 2 clients from different places in the world had the same belief system. And that was a huge thing, was holding them back in terms of making more money. And this is happening when you shrink yourself and you don't want the success, or you fumble the success, or you procrastinate after something really good happens, or suddenly you're selling things and things are going really good and then you stop showing up, or you intellectualize, well, you don't really need it. I don't want that. You know what I mean? Let's just push it away. And those are fear responses. Those are your body going into an exhaustion or an avoidance out of a way to prevent the growth from continuing. This is you getting activated as opposed to excited around expansion. This is you having the headache, the brain fog, the emotional overwhelm every time you're leveling up, or you actually get injured. You actually, oh, sprained my ankle. Oh, I have the cold. Oh, this is what happened. Can't do it. Look at that. Oh, well. And your body is really funny because it will give you what you are asking for. And if your belief system is things always fall apart, things are going to continue falling apart until you process that and you realize that in your body, it is safe for things to not fall apart. It is safe for things to get better and better and better and good on top of good. But if you don't do that, you're going to be repeating the same cycle. So say with that, what financial pattern have you been repeating for a very, very long time? And when it comes down to it, money is not the goal, like more money. The goal is for your nervous system to feel safe receiving and keeping and expanding. And whether that's money, love, support, joy, all that. It's not the cash money. If you're miserable but you're a millionaire, like that didn't help. It's you live in overflow and money is not an issue. So the basic survival of you day to day isn't constantly being triggered. You just get to live life, and maybe if something happens, you can help out a family member if you actually want to, not because they're taking advantage of you. Or let's say you want to give to charity. Like, what a beautiful thing for you to do, as opposed to, I don't know, I'm paying for fucking rent this month. That's not a energy that is conducive to you being your best self, for you to do whatever magic you're meant to do this in this world, for you to share your light, because you quite literally are like, fuck, am I gonna die? You're not gonna die. And even if your rent is late, like that's not ideal. I'm not saying miss your bills, but you wouldn't actually die. And you're not gonna get evicted if your rent is a week late. Like, again, don't do it. We don't want to be in that standard. But there's a million things for you to be homeless and on the street and lose everything. Like, there's a lot of steps. But if your brain is already in the I'm going to live in a shelter or on the streets, then that's your reality, because your brain can't tell the difference between what you're worried about and thinking about versus what's actually happening, which is why please visualize your dream future, not your worst case scenario. Please and thank you. So then where do these patterns come from? Because if you're new to this and you haven't heard of any of this stuff before, you're just like, what the crap? Please get them away. I want new beliefs. You got it. You're in the right place. So your early conditioning, your subconscious mind is a sponge between 0 to 7, including when you were in utero. You're literally marinating in your mother's stress. We don't blame our parents, but this is a huge indicator of what your money and stories, your money beliefs and stories are going to be when you're older. So there's going to be patterns that are going to be formed right away. Before you know what numbers are, before you can count to 3, before you've ever made $1, before you've opened up an account, you already have ingrained money stories of what money is. You might have never even held a fucking dollar, but you're like, money is blank. And that is in you. That is in your subconscious. That is in your nervous system. That is in your body. And like, you have visceral responses to that. And that can be reprogrammed, which is great. So we need to be really, really aware that how you were raised and the financial tone, the story around what money was for you as a child, especially between 0 and 7, makes a huge difference. Do you have to work really hard for money? Did you see your parents like come home really late and exhausted? Did you not see your parents because they were always at work? Did you always have to get, sent to grandma or a cousin or a babysitter? And then you're like, well, I just really want my mom and she's not here. Was there like inconsistency and instability when it came to money? It's like you saw your parents sitting at the kitchen table looking at the bills and they're getting really upset and they're fighting, and then you're like, ooh, money equals conflict, money equals struggle, money equals bad, money is scary. And logically you're like, money's not scary, I want more money, like this is ridiculous. I don't care what you logically want, because if that was your truth, you'd be sitting in a tub of money. So if you're not, there are subconscious beliefs that are holding you back. And when it comes down to, your nervous system will always choose what's familiar, even if it's struggle, as opposed to anything that's unfamiliar and expansive and really good for you, because it comes down to safety. Are you safe? And if it's new, then you're not 100% sure if you're safe. Hence, let's avoid it. Your family dynamics are going to really shape your financial identity. And this goes beyond just the tone of money and what money was viewed as. This also goes down to things like, was love conditional? Did you have an emotionally unavailable parent? Was there a lot of fighting? Did your parents have mental health issues? Then all of a sudden you feel like love is conditional and you have to work really hard to prove your worth. If there was a lot of conflict when it came to money, you might be like, you know what? If I don't have money, then we can't have conflict and things are easy and better. Perfect. Amazing. Were you ever told that you're too much? Because if you were told you're too sensitive, you want too much, you are too much, your emotions are too big, oh, it's just stop. bring it down a notch. Perfect. You'll undercharge. You will hide and you will fawn. So you're going to be that people pleaser, the goody two shoes, the yes, please, whatever you want. Sure, let me get it for you. And you're going to be taken advantage of. So then why does this matter? This matters because your nervous system is going to learn through repetition, and these have been the experiences that you have repeatedly had over the years, the decades. Your subconscious mind is going to store these beliefs, especially when they're energetically charged. Money is always energetically charged because it's based with survival. And then your body is going to respond before logic even kicks in. And this is something that is really important because you might have a certain sensation in your body feeling unsafe because of something you've experienced in the past, because it's something that hasn't been processed. And you won't even logically know that you're like repulsed by something or you're getting this micro trigger. And these things add up. So over time, it's just going to dysregulate even more. The more dysregulated you are, the harder it is for you to use critical thinking and creativity and logic to make the right decision. And then you're just shut down and exhausted all the time. So that is not how we want to do life. So let us move some of that. Now, I'm not going to do a huge Now, in case the time technique is new to you, send me a DM. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to get right into the technique. The most important thing is you will need to have your eyes closed. Pretty please don't be driving, operating machinery, or taking care of anyone that requires your undivided attention. So, like, don't have the stove on, don't have your hair curler on, whatever it is. This is not a hypnosis, but your eyes do need to be closed. So, don't do it while walking. Okay, don't sue me. Thank you. I'm trying to help you for free. So, that being said, with all the things that we talked about, what is one belief or one sensation that you're having in regards to money? Money is bad. Money is scary. You have to work hard for money. Or is it I don't know, your chest feels heavy, you feel nauseous, your stomach feels, I don't know, like it's in knots. Like, what is it? Choose one thing. You can always re listen to this as well. So, if there's multiple things, which usually there is because money has so many different layers, but choose one thing. I'm also going to ask you multiple questions. So, if the question doesn't apply to you, just ignore, sit in silence, and be in your body. Everyone's going to have a very different experience in terms of where these things come from. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say is when it comes to your timeline, sometimes your timeline changes. Everyone has a future and they have a past. So, for just a second, I want you to orient. If you were to point towards your past, where is it? If you were to point towards the future, where is that? You're going to be in the middle. There's going to be some sort of a line. It can be side to side, up and down, front to back, it can be looped, whatever it is, totally fine. This is the timeline we're going to be working on. All right, let us begin. I'm going to invite you to close down your eyes and take a nice big clearing breath. Big exhale through the mouth, let it go. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release the emotion, limiting belief, the sensation, and for you to be consciously aware of it now? Even though I can't see or hear you, I'm going to really invite you to just give me a nod or even say yes out loud. Good. Now ask your unconscious, what is the root cause of that limiting belief, sensation, or emotion, which when disconnected will cause the emotion, limiting belief, or sensation to totally disappear. If you were to know, was this before, during, or after your birth, let your first answer come through. Don't use your brain. Don't overthink it. If you said before, was it in the womb or before then? If you said the womb, what trimester? Don't overthink it. If you said before, was this a past life or was it generational? And then how many lifetimes or how many generations ago? Let yourself get whatever number. Don't overthink it. And if you said after, what age were you? Good. So now we're going to go ahead and get in touch with our timeline now. We're going to float above the timeline. We're going to turn around. We're going to face the past. So then go ahead. You're going to float back into the past. And when you get there, notice the event. Give me a nod. I know I can't see you, but it's really important for you to use your body in these responses. Floating there now, directly over the event, looking down at it. Just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from this event, the learning of which will allow you to let go of that limiting belief, that emotion, that sensation. You're going to let that go easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve these learnings, so in case it needs them in the future, they'll be right there to protect you, help you make good choices, and to serve you. And you may get these learnings consciously, or you may get an indication you've gotten them. So this does not need to logically make sense. It's not always words. Sometimes it's an inner knowing. Sometimes it's a wave of lightness through your body. Trust the process. And then just know certain things happen to us, whether it happened to us personally, whether it was something generational, and it leaves an imprint in our body, in our mind, because we don't want to be hurt again. So you almost highlight it and you hold on to it really, really tight because I don't want this to happen again. And if I remember and if I leave it really fresh, it won't happen again. But then it's kind of funny because then it does happen again. Because it's in your mind and you're calling it in because that is what you're looking for, because you're so scared of that happening that you actually see it more. So if you let yourself embody the wisdom, the message, the learning, you can let go of that initial event. You can move forward. And know that the wisdom will change you. It will keep you safe. It keeps you resourceful so that it doesn't need to happen again. And with everything you've been through in life, you keep getting smarter, wiser, more creative, more resilient, more powerful. So it won't happen again. So I invite you to just let go of that previous event. It is done. It's in the past. You don't need it. And let yourself fully embody the download, the message, the wisdom. Take a big breath in, take it in, move it through the body, head to toe, and let go of the rest. And now go ahead and you're going to float back to well before the event and above the event. You're going to turn around to face the future so the event is in front of you, way down below you. Now ask yourself, where is that old limiting belief, sensation, or emotion? Is it there? Is it gone now? Or is it on its way out? If it's on its way out, we're trusting that it's leaving. Can't rush the healing. Let it do its thing. If it's still there, I want you to give it a little nudge. Like, when you give a little tap, tap, like, let's go. A loving, gentle nudge to get it going. And we're going to trust that it's doing what it needs to, and it's going to release and let go. And now we're going to go ahead and go over your timeline only as quickly as you can let go of all the times you felt this way. You're going to stop above and before each of these events where there used to be that feeling, that emotion, that limiting belief, and you're going to apply the learning. So you're going to sprinkle the learning onto your timeline in all of those spots, all the way back to now. And then just remember, at an unconscious level, time is experienced differently. So your unconscious can take as little time as it wants. It's instant. So go ahead, letting go of all of that extra energy, emotion, charge, limiting beliefs. Let it go all the way back to now. And then gently landing back in this moment of now. Big breath in. And a complete exhale out. Now, can you remember a time in the past you used to be able to feel this limiting belief or emotion? And we just go ahead, go back to that spot. And just check to see it's either fully gone or on its way out. Knowing that what you did was powerful, it changes who you are, it upgrades you, and you can release the charge of the past because there's no need of carrying those rocks forward. You don't need to do that. You can let it go. And then now let's go into the future. Going out to a time in the future, if it would have happened in the past before we did this technique, you would have had a super uncomfortable sensation or emotion come up regarding the event. And notice how you're neutral. Notice how you're like, okay, whatever. Notice how it's different. Notice how it has shifted, and trust that it has shifted you. It has upgraded you. It has shown your body and mind it is safe to expand. Yes, please, more, please. Good on top of good. Big breath in and let it go. And then ever so gently, I'll invite you to bring some movement back into your fingers on your toes. Coming back into this moment, coming back into the now. You need to take a little stretch, go ahead. You need to pause this recording to write down what came through. Amazing. Or maybe you want to send me a DM or email. I'm all ears. Love, love, love hearing your breakthroughs. And then just let your body know it is safe to release what's not serving you. It is safe to release the old beliefs, thoughts, and patterns that are not moving you forwards. And it is safe for things to be good, happy, easeful, abundant. It is safe. Yes, please, more, please. Good on top of good. Big breath in. Let it go. Beautiful. So then what actually creates change? Awareness isn't enough. And I know you guys are type A girls. I know you love reading the books, listening to the podcast, signing up for all the certifications, and everything's like click, 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 done. Yes, makes sense, got it. Something that logically makes sense doesn't mean that it is embodied. It doesn't mean it's your truth. It doesn't mean that it has landed in your subconscious. It doesn't mean it has prevented you from getting dysregulated or for it to even feel safe in the body. Embodiment cannot happen without the emotional safety, upgrading the belief systems, repatterning and repetition, nervous system expansion and flexibility, and shifting your identity. Nobody dies when you shift your identity. You are almost like embodying different versions of yourself and growing. And think of it this way. You're not in grade 2. The version of you who was in grade 2, like they didn't die. They just grew. So for us to shift our identity, for that to be scary and it's like an ego death and you want to avoid it, that doesn't make sense. Imagine forever and always you're in grade 2 and that's it. You don't get wiser, you don't get smarter, like maybe your clothes aren't fitting anymore because like you have kind of grown, but then intellectually you haven't. Like that sounds awful. So all the knowledge you had in grade 2, it's still in there. But then now, I'm assuming you're not like a 6, 7-year-old anymore. You have more knowledge, you have more wisdom. Like I would never want to go back. Like I don't want to go back to my 20s. I don't even want to go back to some of my 30s because there was so much wisdom and healing I've gone through that I want to keep that. So then you shifting your identity is fine. You're just upgrading. We want the upgrade. Upgrading is safe. And this is why you guys need to remember that you can't journal your way out of how your body is responding to how it's trying to protect you. You can't mindset yourself into wealth if your nervous system and your body and your belief system thinks that money is bad and dangerous. You can't sustainably hold more through force. It's like you're trying to like rip it open, but then it breaks, which is why you have the up and the down. You need to stretch in a way that is sustainable, also doesn't re-traumatize you or re-trigger you, which a lot of coaches have done if they're not properly trained. You want there to be flexibility. You want there to be space for you to receive more, but without crumbling, for your foundation to be really set. This is the work that I do with my clients. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, please send me a DM or an email. I would love to have a chat with you. But in case you wanted to do something within a group, which is also so powerful, I have something new coming up. It's called the Bridge Wealth and Expansion. The Bridge is my group program that I have run a few times where it essentially gets you from your point A to your point B. And there's a bridge in terms of doing the somatic healing, the subconscious reprogramming, as well as the nervous system regulation. But then this cohort is all about money, wealth, and receiving. Receiving all the goodness, receiving the compliments, receiving the joy, receiving the love, because all of that logically you want it, but you probably can't actually receive it and handle it. So, this is for the women who want to really stop being triggered by money because that's absolutely silly. And you want to upgrade your identity in terms of how you view this. In this program, we're going to figure out what is your pattern. What's your money pattern? Where did it come from? Understand the origin. Because when you have enough information, you see why certain things happen. And it also gives you the clarity being like, but that doesn't make sense. And you can let it go. You work with the body because you're not a floating brain. You have a body. You have to feel your feels. You have to know what emotions are. You have to know what your triggers are. You have to rewire your subconscious because you will always drop back into your belief system as opposed to what you logically want. And then you need to create safety, felt safety in your body around receiving, holding, and expanding. With this cohort, the way that we're going to be doing it is we meet every 2 weeks, and that gives a little space because I know it's the summertime. But listen, do you not want to be like hot girl summer in terms of having the money? Because, oh no, I'll be rich later. I'll make peace with money later. What? No. Don't you want money for the summer? Because I know I do. There's things I want to do. Okay. So just saying now's the perfect time. So every single call, we're going to be doing actual reprogramming, somatic work, NLP work, time technique, all of those really powerful modalities so you can process what's coming up and see why it's happening. Between calls, you're going to have reprogramming tracks. There are going to be hypnosis tracks according to what the group needs. What are your traumas? What are your beliefs? What feels hard? What feels scary? And I will create them uniquely for you. And then we move through that over 3 months. So you're in this beautiful, juicy container with like minded women. So many people are like, I have a hard time making friends who are also into the healing modalities. Hello, hi, my community is amazing. I love the women I work with. I've seen a lot of friendships and besties blossom by coming to this work together. So a beautiful way to meet people who are like that as well. This is not surface level mindset work. This is also not financial education. I'm not a financial planner. I cannot give you financial advice. I can do the energy behind money in terms of what your brain thinks it is, why it feels unsafe, why your body is triggered, why your nervous system's absolutely fried. That's the work that I do. Now, this is starting on June the 10th. In the fall, I'm going back to the regular version of the bridge. So if you want to do the money work, now is your chance. This is the last time I'm going to run it this year. And this will give you the opportunity to receive the money without bracing and to be able to hold money without self-sabotaging and expand your income without collapsing. There is a promo code for an early bird, which is on until June the 5th. And if you have questions, pretty please let me know. I am capping off the numbers because I want to keep it intimate so people have more time with me. They can ask their questions. They don't need to get shy. So it's not going to be like 40, 50 people by any means. We're keeping this nice and intimate so you guys can speak up and feel safe in the space. So last thing, super important, really invite you to do this. Put your hand on your heart. And I just want you to know that you are worthy of joy. You're worthy of love and success and wealth and all the goodness. Yes, please, more, please. Good on top of good. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Please send me any of your questions, any of your comments. If you have questions about the program or working with me, I'm here for you. Also, check out my podcast, Discover Your Joy with Tamaya Urban. Lots of goodies, lots of wisdom, and some pretty hilarious stories because life has been very funny lately. So that's it. That's all. Thanks for being here. Bye.